How to build your own malware analysis lab to analyze malware samples safely without affecting your workstation, without affecting all the other devices connected to your network, or without abusing your IP or letting a malware abuse your IP for malicious activities. So this video will be in two parts. The first part, which is this video, we will talk about how to build the network configuration in your virtual machines so you can run the malware safely. And in the next video, we will talk about the malware analysis tools that needs to be installed in your virtual machine so you can analyze different malware. So to build your own virtual machine that is safe to run the malware at, you need to use one of two very known virtual machines tools, which is VMware or VirtualBox. VirtualBox is free and open source. You can use that one without any problem. VMware, there is a free version, which is VMware Blier. I don't recommend you to use that one. If you want to use VMware, make sure that you're using VMware Workstation, which is the premium version, because because the premium version, the workstation, has a feature called snapshots, which is a really important feature in your building your malware analysis environment. It's available for free in VirtualBox, the snapshots feature, but in VMware you will need to purchase the workstation. So this is the first thing. The second thing is the operating system that you will install. So you have the virtual machine, you have the VMware installed. You will need at least your laptop to have 8 GB RAM. That's minimum, preferably even more, like 12 or 16 or 32 if you can, but minimum your workstation, your laptop needs to have at least 8 GB RAM and at least 50 GB of free hard disk, free space in the hard disk, preferably over 100, because I see a lot of cases when the virtual machines, my virtual machine just expand more and more. At least that's my experience with VMware, and it can reach 100 or 120 gigabytes. So make sure that you have the space accordingly. So you inside VMware or inside VirtualBox, you will build your own virtual machine. There are virtual machines ready from Windows. I'll put the link down below in the video or up there in the description if I'm posting it somewhere else on YouTube. And with there, you can download a ready-made virtual machine for you from Microsoft with Windows 10 or Windows 11 right now. A free version of Windows 11. You will not have the background customization, cosmetic stuff. You can ignore that, but you can run malware. You can run malware samples. They're completely free without need to buy any license. I do not recommend you to use Windows XP or Windows 7 even, because they are now old, they are not supported, and there might be lots of malware that don't run normally on these machines. As well, when we talk about the malware analysis tools, you will notice that some new malware analysis tools or the newer versions of them don't run on Windows 7 or Windows XP anymore. So that's for the Windows operating system. Now, there are three different setups that you can have in terms of the network configuration. The first one is to not have your malware connected to the internet or your virtual machine connected to the internet. Basically, you will put your virtual machine in the network configuration to host only. When you put it on host only, your malware will, your virtual machine will not connect to the internet. You can still copy files from your own host workstation to your virtual machine with no problem, but your malware will not connect to the internet. You can use a tool called FakeNet, we'll talk about it tomorrow, that can simulate an internet, a running internet there, but the malware will never connect back to the attacker, and you will not see what type of commands he wants run. But it's enough for you to analyze the sample itself and understand what the malware is doing offline in a normal machine. So that's one setup, which is the safest setup. The second setup you can have is to have your own, your virtual machine installed in a NAT environment, in a NAT network settings. NAT means that it's connected to the internet and it does not connect directly to your own network. inside your house or inside whatever the place you are running this malware. So there are three or four main settings. There is the host only, there is the NAT, and there is the Bridget, and there is other virtual machines, other other virtual networks. We'll not talk about the other virtual networks, but the host only is not connected to the internet. The Bridget is connected to the network, and as well it's connected to the internet and connected to your router directly, and it's part of your own network. If you put your virtual machine on bridge, that means that the malware can see the other devices connected to the internet, including your phone, your tablet, your TV, your washing machine if you are using a smart washing machine, any other device connected to your network, connected to your router. Your malware will be able to see, and the attacker might try to attack it. So never use Bridget as a way to connect the internet. You can use NAT, and there is only one issue with the NAT settings. It protects your devices and your network from the malware, but the malware can still use your IP for malicious activities. So you need to make sure that you know what this malware is doing, at least have an idea what the sample is doing before you put it in NAT. If you know that this malware is being used to perform DDoS attack on other people, basically your IP will be used in that. So make sure you are very safe from that, and you know what this malware doing at least a little bit before you go into running this malware in NAT settings or NAT network settings, and make it use your IP. The third settings, which is the safest settings for connecting the malware to the internet, these settings require you to have higher RAM, like at least 12 or 16 gig RAM. You will need to also have a bigger hard disk because you're gonna run two virtual machines. So the setup looks like this. You will have a Linux virtual machine, and this Linux virtual machine has two network adapters. These two network adapters, one is connected to host only, or connected to any of the customized or private networks that you can use in VMware or VirtualBox, and the other one is connected to your internet with Bridget settings. What's going to happen is that your malware virtual machine will be host only, or will be in the same network as your Linux machine. So basically, it can see your Linux machine, and they are in the same network. And the Linux machine will be on one side connected to the network with your Windows malware virtual machine, and as well it's connected to the internet. Once you do that, you will install Tor VPN or any other VPN inside your Linux virtual machine, and you will make sure that it masks any network communication coming from the host only private network. Mask it with the Tor or with the VPN and connect it to the internet through the other adapter. So basically, this Linux machine will work as your default gateway for the Windows machine. This will be your own new router. It connects to the internet through the VPN, and as well, it gives the ability for the virtual machine, for the Windows virtual machine, to connect to the internet through that router or through that VPN. In your Windows virtual machine, you will need to set the default gateway to this Linux virtual machine IP. So in the Windows, the default gateway will be the Linux virtual machine IP, and as well it will be connecting to the internet only through this Linux machine. What's going to happen with the settings is that you will have two virtual machines. You will have the default gateway and the malware machine, and any communication happens from the malware, it's only connecting to the internet. Any network communication, any malicious activities online will happen from the malware directly through VPN. So if he's doing a DDoS attack, he's doing it through the VPN IP, and is not directly your IP. So you can protect your IP, and as well you will be able to protect your own network and protect your own devices. That's it for today. By the way, I am releasing very soon Mastering Malware Analysis book. It's a book that I have authored or co-authored with Alexei Klemenov. This book, we're releasing a second edition of this book after the massive success of the first edition. This is even an updated version with more chapters and more in-depth information. So make sure that you check it out, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.